Okay. Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday. I was gonna say hump day, but it's clearly not hump day.
You always say.
Hey, I love hump day. Hump day. I look forward to the hump day situations.
Oh my lord.
So we're just getting so check it. We're on Facebook on the Branding Geeks. We're on Facebook on my personal page. We're on Kimberly's personal page on Facebook, and then we are on Instagram, the Branding Geeks. So every avenue.
You're testing stuff out.
You know, we're trying to improve the technology.
Hey, G-Ma.
G-Ma in the building.
G-Ma is in the building. Y'all say hey to G-Ma.
Okay. And then, yep. Cool.
Okay. Bye, Cleaton Gums audience. He's not on Cleaton Gums. You're supposed to be on the Branding Geek, so bye.
Wow. See? Gosh. Had one job.
One job. That's all right though. We'll get it.
I was excited. I was excited trying to get everything set up, you know?
Right.
It's all right. We'll get this set up and we'll be on our way. At least I had the right
Talk to the people while I
device.
get this.
Yeah.
Get the right device right.
Yeah. So great day, you know. What is it? It's March.
March 10th.
Yo, if you
Almost the middle of March already.
If you ain't getting it done, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's
about to
already
be
March.
in the first quarter.
Yes, man. This is crazy. I literally felt like
Instagram.
Okay, we in there? Oh,
yes.
We just gotta get the little title set up, okay?
Right.
But yeah.
Hey, Bree.
It's March. We're excited. It's a lot of amazing stuff coming up. In the rest of the quarters of the year. Right now, as you can see, we're getting our cadence for live. You know, we're just looking forward to it every week, bringing consistent content that can benefit you and your business and your projects. You know, a lot of times we talk to business owners, but really we're talking to creatives as a whole. You know, we deal with business owners in our, obviously we serve business owners. Majority of the clients that we have, they're business owners, but we also understand that you may be a creative, you may not be at that stage yet where you've transitioned to business. So a lot of these things is good to know now, because once you kind of make that transition, you start to expand your ideas. You're going to want to have structure in place. So, yeah. So,
hey, Wilma.
Hey, Wilma, how you doing? So, yeah, you want to intro us in, and now we connected on all of the platforms.
Yes. So go ahead while we're
Get
situated. Go ahead and share. Please share our live. Invite your friends and family, those who could use some branding tips and advice, and just full on interesting info. Cleaton Vegas. It's cut off.
Am I good now, Bree?
Is she good? Oh, now it's better.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I can't be like
Thank
this
you.
with
See,
it.
got fan looking out for you. Thank you for looking out. Thank you.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, we just gotta work all these.
Uncle Al.
Okay.
Why are you laughing already?
I already know.
You already know he's coming with a comment. I know he's coming with a comment. But anywho, happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this week's live. Hey, Fifi. Thank you for joining this week's live. Like Cleet said, we hope you all have been having a better than ever week so far. We're almost midweek. Come on. Almost there.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Don't move too far from his left. He leaves it. Oh, you leave the screen, so don't move too far.
I can't be like this.
Yeah, you can't be like that. You gotta be like, you gotta be like that with it, okay?
Wow.
Sorry.
Smacking me, okay?
I didn't mean to smack
you. I know you did, man. I know you did. Okay, so, what are we talking about today?
I was saying, we're midweek, so, we could do this. We got this. Hope you all have been having a productive week. Shout out to Fifi. She released her newsletter today. If y'all not following Miss Felicia Siobhan, Wright Ellison, okay?
Killing the game.
It's a whole mood. If you have not gotten her book, purchase her book. It's a whole mood. She just released her newsletter, and if you don't even know what her newsletter is, you need to go sign up to get it.
She got that knowledge, man.
At Felicia Siobhan.
Yes. Go support her for sure.
Hashtag plug. I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah, I saw, man. Sure, man. Anyway, and shout out to Al, man. Shout out to I get a chance to do a podcast
Yes.
with it's called Open for Discussion.
Hilarious.
I haven't done my post yet this week, but I got you. I'm going to do it.
See,
I'll do it tonight.
You just checked.
Hey,
See?
yeah, no, I just
accountability right there.
No, but check us out. It's 4 Black African American. Well, of course, you're Black African American. Anyway, African Americans. It's talking about fatherhood, talking about just being African Americans in America. From a guy's perspective, it's really powerful. We touch on every subject, and
y'all laugh, y'all cry.
Well, Albert cries. I got no reason. I got no problem with crying myself. But we always joke on Albert about that. But it's a really good podcast. If you haven't checked it out, that's another shameless plug. Okay. All right. Oh, looks like that's all our announcements there. Yeah? Not announcements, but our. God, sorry. I've been in church a lot, most of my life. What is it? It's that would have been our ads, what you would call it?
Ads are the same thing, like announcements.
Trying to work this out, y'all.
New info. What's basically we're giving y'all what's been happening, letting y'all what's going on, and close friends of ours that are doing a doggone thing in their areas.
That's right.
We're gonna shout them out.
Yeah, shout out to fam for sure. All right, so
and more in the works too. We got some more.
Oh yeah.
They haven't been released yet. So
yeah. We'll get to. I got another one I'm thinking of. I'll drop at the end. So let's dive into the topic for today. Do you have a call to action? Do you have a CTA?
Yes.
Now, if you listen to any of our previous lives, we have been talking about this ad nauseum. Like it is. Matter of fact, I want to just get a shirt that says CTA.
Thank you, BP. Our updates. Thank you. Yeah, trying to get the lingo right. Yes.
But yeah, call to action, right? That is a very important thing, not only for marketing. It's just for you as a content creator, as a producer of anything that you're putting online or you're putting before people. You want to always be looking to cause a person to take a specific action that you want. A lot of times, and this stems from sales, right? Yeah. A lot of times, you might have been on a sales call or you might have been in a sales position where you're talking about all the benefits and all of the features of the product, and it sounds so amazing. The person's excited, but you never ask for the sale, right? You never just say, "Hey, so ready to get started?" Oh, hey, ready to sign up? Or is that going to be Visa, MasterCard, and all the different cards, right? You never have that call to action to actually make them take the next step to choose your service, listen to your podcast,
whatever you're trying to get them to do.
You know what I mean? Come to your event, right?
Yeah.
If you notice, no matter what the scenario is, there's always going to be a call to action that you can put in front of a person to make them take that action. Right. And if you fail to do that, you're going to find it that you're getting a lot of engagement, but you're not getting conversions, right? So engagement is getting people in and they're listening to you. For instance, with this live, right? If we have someone come to this live and they listen, they're going to take in the information and they'll be able to use it in their business. But if we never give you a call to action, then you just kind of come, listen, and go about your business. So you see typically at the end of these lives, Kim's like, "Hey, go follow us here. Go like this. Go do this," right? It's giving you a call to action so that you can continue to engage with us. So those examples I just gave were live examples. You can imagine how important it is for you to have that on your website, to have that on your social media posts, right? Because think about it. Right now, some of you might have jumped on this live. You might have been on Facebook looking at pictures or trying to catch up with family members, right? So you jumped on this live and we're fighting for your attention at this very moment.
Because there are 50 million other things on social media right now.
Right. And at any given time, you could just go and move on to something else, right? So if we're not constantly providing you with the action to take with us, then you can always come in and come out. And we never have any retention with you. We never really be able to build rapport. So what we'll do today, we're going to go over some of the common types of call to actions. And then we're going to talk about a couple of the benefits of why you want to have call to action. Now, I kind of touched over those and touched those in my intro here, but I'll still go over some to make sure I lock down a point for you all, so you understand. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that before, or those type of things. Before I jump in, you had anything that came to mind?
I'll do it once you start.
Okay.
Points, because it might, what I say might be what you're gonna.
Harping on. Because I could get going.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, so let's start with how call to action can improve your website or your content, right? First thing is it's going to destroy decision fatigue and confusion, right? Let's take a scenario, right? This happens all the time with Amazon, right? You might be looking at, I don't know, let's take some. I always use pillows. I don't know why. I'm thinking mentally about to start shopping for a new pillow, and I keep thinking about pillows.
You change pillows every so often.
Hey, you gotta have the neck right. You gotta be able to, what I'm saying, support. I got a lot of head here, so I got support.
You need lots of support.
Okay. So anyway, so if you're looking for a pillow, right? A lot of times you'll go on Amazon. There's like tons of pillows. You got the cooling pillow. You got the neck support pillow. You got the long pillow. You got all these different pillows. So a lot of times that can cause overwhelm and even fatigue. But any of those Facebook, Amazon products that I go on, when you look into the description, sometimes they have call to actions there where they're like, go ahead, get started now. Or it's just a conscious interrupt to say, hey, buy this now, do do something. And subconsciously, while I'm at that very moment when I'm just like, you know what, I just need to make a decision.
You gotta get it now.
Right. That call to action can literally get me over the hump, right? It can get me into that state where I'm making the decision and I'm doing it, right? So that's one of the biggest things that can improve your website. When you get to your website, now let's talk about your website for a quick second. If I'm coming to your website, a lot of times what all of us think, and I've been a victim of this in the early stage of my career, you think, okay, I need to get a website that looks dope. It needs to have my color scheme, it needs to have my logo on there, and it needs to represent me. And essentially what we end up building is a glorified business card. It looks really good. It has contact information. It has a form for them to find you, to fill, to send a message to you. But that's about it. And, in the last, I want to say probably 10 years now, but really so in the last 5 years, it's been a push to really use your website as a business tool, as a salesperson that's constantly pushing your product or your service while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation with your family, while you're at your 9 to 5.
Having them actually stay on your website.
Right. So and there's elements that cause this phenomenon to happen. One of those things being messaging, right? So you heard us talk about in previous lives that you want to have clear, concise copy so that a person can understand what to do on your website and how to engage with your product or your service or whatever you're telling them. But on top of that, while you have them, you don't want to lose them, right? So you want to constantly, throughout your homepage and throughout every page, you want to be constantly saying, hey, subscribe to my newsletter. Hey, join my community. Buy my product, right? Schedule a call. You want to constantly be putting that conscious reminder in their mind to say, oh, you know what? I do need to take action. Like, I'm not here just to...
patrol.
Just scroll. You just scroll troll. You know what I mean? I'm here. Hey, what's up? I'm here to to engage with the. That's why I came here, right? I came here for some information. So when I give you a call to action, I give you something to do. Then you know what I mean. Now you're ready to take that action. So that's the first. So going back to how it can improve your website and your content, it gives you the opportunity to get a person all over the fatigue bubble, get them over that confusion where they're like, I don't know if I really want to do it. I'm kind of thinking about it. I've been looking at this for a couple of weeks, and here goes this statement that's saying, take action now.
You make the decision for them.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, you make the decision for them. That's why I fool you.
That's why I fool with you.
Right. Okay. So here's another way a CTA can improve your website. It can direct the reader to take action based on their need, right? So that kind of goes back to my initial point. If you brought them to your website and your website is speaking to the need. Let's use the pillow example, right? So I'm on a website and it's like, you're having neck problems, are you, what's another thing? Are you missing sleep? The call to action can be, stop losing sleep and get sleep now, right? So that call to action literally, it fulfills my need. I'm like, oh man, you're answering my question in the form of an action. You're saying, stop losing sleep and get your sleep now.
Right.
And I can literally click that button and it's going to take me to the purchase page or whatever have you, okay? Another thing that it does, it ensures that each piece of content on your website is meaningful. Now this is big because like I mentioned, you'll see call to actions a lot of times on the contact page. You'll see it on the home page, but you won't see it on blog posts, right? You won't see it on the service. Well, you'll probably see it on the services page, but you may not see it on a portfolio page or any of these other pages. So the call to action, placing it on every page, it makes every piece of content meaningful. No matter what you're talking about, you wrap it up at the end and say, hey, so subscribe to my newsletter. If you love this blog post, subscribe to your newsletter. Like we're talking about with this live. Hey, this live been helpful for you. Share it with a friend. Like us on, like us and Facebook, follow us and do all those. Right. It makes every piece of content meaningful because now, you've shared, like I said, you went through the sales call, right? And you finished it with a call to action. You didn't just get off the call and didn't ask for the sales.
Right. Okay. Fifi asked, should you have a call to action on your social media posts? Absolutely. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting it on every single one of your posts because you do want to be personable. Yeah. You're not always trying to be like salesy to people on each one of your posts. But yes, put some call to actions, and it doesn't. Each call to action is not necessarily like to sell somebody. Say for instance.
It could be subscribed. It could be subscribed to my newsletter, right?
Yeah, or to your community that you have. Hey, click the link in my bio. If you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio and join my community. If you want to, get your wholeness.
Right. Or it could be as simple as, hey, I want to hear from you. Yes. Send me a message, right? What do you think, right? So these are some of the subtle call to actions that invites engagement, right?
I was going to say, like the subtle call to actions, like, hey, do you like this or that? And, whatever the this or that is that you're showing, that's a call to action for you to get some engagement on, specific posts that you make.
And we'll get into that, the different types of call to actions. That's going to be the next part. But that's very important. So some of the call to actions are geared towards, like everything, like Kim said, it's not about being salesy, right? Some call to action could just be for engagement, right? So you're not looking to necessarily get them to a sell yet, but you're trying to build rapport. So it's like, hey, let's talk more. Right. Hey, tell me more. Hey, what do you think, right? And then as they trust you more, right? Because with the Branding Geeks, what our call is, with our slogan, with our purpose is to help you all build brands that people know, like, and trust. So in order to get that trust, right, in order to get them to know you, there has to be this stage of rapport. And this is what we're doing with you all. We're coming on here every Tuesday and we're looking to build rapport with you. We're looking to be those channels of information that you can use, in your everyday business and whatever products and services you have.
Right. And you're welcome, VP.
Yeah, glad I was able to help with that. And then the other thing that it does to improve the call action, it does to improve your website or your content, is it helps you grow your audience and increase sales. So that's what we're talking about, right? You if you're consistent with your content posting, it just gives them that interaction piece to now say, okay, I'm going to subscribe, so now I can. Or one thing we'll start doing is, I know it's on YouTube when you say hit that bell. What is the thing we have them do for notifications on Instagram?
On Instagram? Turn their notifications on.
Turn notifications on, right? Yeah. So that'll be one of the things Kim will say at the end of this. She's like, turn on your notifications so you can know when we go live. Right,
or post anything.
Right, when we start to do some screen shares of content, and we do those on YouTube, then we'll be able to say, hey, hit that bell to get notifications. So those are the things that you do that help you increase your, grow your audience, and it helps you also to increase sales. Because obviously you tell them, you ask for the sell.
Right.
Okay. Now, let's dive into the 7. And at any point, if you have questions like Fifi asks, feel free to ask a question. We will be more than happy to
answer. And that's good. Adrian says, "Yep, I already know you all go live on Tuesdays. I look for it now." See?
Look at that.
That's
what
and that keeps us accountable too, because we know people like, where's y'all live?
Because Christmas, boy, it was like Christmas. We were like this, boy. we had family. You know how that go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about. We kind of touched on these a little bit, but we'll talk about them more, concisely. There's 7 most common types of call actions, right? So the first one is the leads call action, right? And this is intended to convert visitors into buyers, right? So you're looking to build leads, right? So I kind of talked about what we're like. Your call action is really like, hey, get this. Here's a great example. Get this guide to show you 7 ways to get better sleep like you've never had before, right? That call action is intended to make you a lead so that we can put you in a funnel and later sell you the pillow, right? So the guide is about all the benefits of the pillow itself.
Give me the value.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, I can get these 7 things. I'm going to be sleeping like a baby. I'm going to have all this energy. I'm going to be able to do a million things or whatever, right? And then at the end of that guide, it's going to give you a call to action. Hey, sign up for a call. Let us help you get this sleep today, right? So once you get that call to action, it's like, hey, here's this pillow. This pillow actually does all those 7 things. It's $49.99. Sign up today, right? Or buy right now. So a lead type of call to action is designed to turn from a visitor to a buyer. Okay. You have a call to action in a form, right? So that's your common one. All of us seen it, right? So it's submit, right? It's apply now. It's whatever that is at the end of that form, right? Yeah. A lot of times when we're looking to book a consultant, or even down to your hairdresser, right? If they have a form, there's going to be that button at the end of it that makes you submit that form, right? So that's a common one we've all seen. Okay. Service and product discovery. Okay. Like we talked about, this is most commonly found on websites, right? So this is going to be the call to action when you went through the website, you talked about the benefits and the features. Now that next call to action is like discover more, right? Let's get on a call. Let's get into details of why you want this and let's move forward. Okay. The sharing one, right? The sharing one is one that's very common. Any of us that's been on social media, you're going to, you're going to hear our shared call to actions at the end of this, right?
Oh, I said at the beginning, actually. I said, hey,
follow us.
When people coming in, go ahead, share this live. Getting more visibility out there for you.
Yeah, and then you have, for blogs, you have continue to read or read more, right? So you might get on a blog page, you might have some, what they call excerpt text, right? It's just a sentence or 1 to 3 sentences of the beginning of that blog post, or it might be just the best paragraph from it or whatever, right? But it's intended to get you excited about the article or the blog post, and then it gets you into read more. And then once again, if you're wise, like we're saying, you have a call to action at the bottom of that. Okay. And then you have, so after that you have, this is the one we talked about earlier. You have event promotion, right? So this is really big. I see this all the time. I see all of these ads on social media about someone singing at some event or some concert or some conference or whatever have you, and I don't see a call to action. It's literally like, this person's going to be there, it's going to be this is amazing. I'm like, okay, that's so cool.
They're not telling you what to do.
Where do I sign
up?
Website.
Go get a ticket.
Do I call for a ticket? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do? And I mean, I guarantee you, all of you that are watching this, you're going to start seeing this everywhere you go. You're going to look at commercials. You're going to be like, oh, that commercial was dope, but what did it ask me to do? If you notice, Geico is a great example. They make you laugh, and then they give you a call to action at the end. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's the craziest, weirdest thing that they do. And they're like, this is why I call Geico. It's only 15 minutes. Call, da-da-da-da. Yeah. So it's all about driving back to call action. And then, of course, we talk about the sales goals, right? So if you don't, if you take a person, you talk about the benefits, you talk about the features, and you get to the end of the call and you don't say, all right, so let's get started, you literally kind of wasted your time. Right. You provided them with value, which is really good, but you didn't give them a call to action. So that's my spiel for today.
7 common call to actions to have.
Yeah, and why you need a call to action.
Why it's important.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, we definitely love to open the floor at the end.
Yes.
And they don't have to be about call to actions. It could literally be about anything with your business. Thank you, Bree. Anything with your business. Anything with your branding. Of course, Branding Geeks, right? We definitely want to provide you with value. That's what we're here for.
Anybody else? Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. I think call to actions are important to have.
Yeah, we thought it was good today to talk about it because we mentioned it in passing in several of our and I keep wanting to say podcasts. Podcasts come soon, I guess.
But we never put the focus on, explaining what call to actions are. Because everybody doesn't know, what call to actions are. If you need,
can we get a workshop
what's the
or
price?
Something?
If you need a logo. I was like, if you need a loan, what's the price? If you need a logo, what's the price?
From the Branding Geeks? That's a good question. I mean, really, it depends on your project. We have some logo packages starting as low as $300. But for our full gamut, we really like to do a discovery call first. Mm-hmm. So that we can learn about your project and get the full scope of it.
Right.
We may find out that you not only need a logo, but you need a website. You need a branding identity, which is a guide on how to use your logo, right. Why to use it, what colors are associated with it, right?
Schedule a consultation with us. Book us.
Yeah.
Hit the link in our Instagram bio. Bree.
Yes, we got, okay.
Still learning a better way. Oh, wait. This is,
okay.
Right now, I need to be more accountable. This is where I struggle, so this was helpful.
Good.
Still learning a better way to bring people in besides saying, buy here, want to be more creative. Exactly.
Right. So that goes back to, Adrian, that's really good point you bring up, right? It goes back to having a funnel in mind, right? You're having a understanding that, hey, I need to build some rapport, before I can get them to that sale. So you and I talked about some of the big brands. The larger brands is a lot easier for them because they've spent the dollars on commercials and all these different types of medium to get you to that point where you're ready to take an action. You trust them. Like, okay, I grabbed this Coke. I already know what it tastes like. I don't have to think about it. So, as business owners, as marketers, we have to do the same thing. We have to build that rapport, and that comes from these lives and from your social posts and your blog posts and being consistent with that content to the point where, I take you, Adrian, as an example. You think about Ronnie B, right? She stays before us a lot of times with content. So over time, you started to trust her. You're like, oh, hey, every time she comes on here, I know she's going to give me some value. And with that value,
Like, we be waiting on those lives. We know, like, when she come on with the live, I got the notification on.
Yeah, right. So it's the same process, right? You use that process, and that's going to get you, it's going to start to build that rapport. Once you get to a point where you build that rapport, you can launch a product, and you'll see the response.
And you have a good area, too, because, like, you have a boutique, so, with the clothes that you sell, like, you could do, like you mentioned, some call to actions can be like, do you like this outfit or this outfit or stuff like that. I can see
what color y'all feeling this season.
This season, you can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so definitely reach out to us. We like to chop it up and talk business. So let us know.
Yes.
We got another question over here.
What's a good example for a podcast call to action by Mr. Albert? Oh, that could be share this podcast. That can be subscribe to the podcast first.
Yeah.
What you're about to say?
Yeah, because it depends, right? So, Albert, the good thing, one of the things I've been thinking about with our podcast, you have several mediums that podcasts are popular on now, right? So you have what is it? iHeart Radio. It sounds like I'm saying it wrong. It's iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio, yeah.
I don't know why I sounded wrong. So you got iHeartRadio, you got Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got Apple Podcasts, and then you got Google Play, right? Mm-hmm. So I think one thing that might be important is to try to focus on one of them, and drive traffic to that, get that system down packed, and then switch over to the other. So the call to action will be very specific to, hey, follow us on Spotify. Even though you know that we are sending the podcast to these different platforms, we could just focus on one of them and get results there.
That follows our I'm about to say podcast, because you said podcast. Our live we did it like 2 weeks ago about sticking to one thing at first.
Yeah.
And then branching out and,
Yeah, because, it makes sense, right? It makes it easy for your brain, right? If we're trying to, split our efforts too much, right, we end up being ineffective. It end up being overwhelming. So that the ones that Kimberly mentioned, obviously go listen to the podcast, right? Go subscribe so that you can get dinged pinged whenever there's a new podcast release. Then another one may be based on that episode, right?
I was about to say, like, questions pertaining to the episode. Like, what are your thoughts on, whatever?
Right, like we talked about Kobe in one of ours, right? So how did Kobe impact you? Listen to the guys talk about it and let us know your thoughts, right? Yeah. So I'm giving all these amazing ideas. Hopefully we can start doing it. You probably you probably should be doing it.
Like, you doing this stuff,
but that goes back to being splitting efforts.
And then Fifi said, can we get this in a worksheet or something?
A worksheet. Oh, it was a workshop or worksheet? It was
a worksheet. And then Sabrina followed up, can you all provide a how-to document or a service on setup, a do-it-yourself class? And are you talking, Sabrina, specifically for call to action information? Like a document on why and the types and how to use it towards your business?
Oh, I see. And I just thought about it, Fifi, how we can do a worksheet, basically where we can have these different types and then have you write your own version.
Oh, got you. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I understand. Okay. I can see what you. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is best for my business and do it myself. Got you. Some worksheets so you can feel. Oh, almost like the brain guide. But
for a call action.
Okay, come on. Okay, I see.
Yeah, we'll work on that. That'll be good. A lead magnet, right? So
definitely a lead magnet. Lead pages. That's going to be another live.
Lead pages.
Lead page.
Lead pages.
Yeah.
Landing page. It's all right. That's fine. I'm like, wait.
Why you had to do me like that? How many times are you going to tell me lead pages? Lead pages?
Because I was just trying to
Are you sure you're trying to say lead pages?
I was trying to work through it. I was like, we don't even use lead pages like that. I was like, we're going to start using that.
Landing pages.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Landing pages.
You know what I meant. I meant landing pages.
Yeah,
y'all.
she meant that.
That's funny. Oh Lord. Landing page.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, that's
gonna be another live specifically dedicated to
landing pages. Yeah, and I think this she brings up a good point. The worksheets, we can start doing those things. We eventually want to do a kind of like webinar where we can actually share our screen and kind of have you guys go through some things. So we could work on that. I'll get with Kim. We kind of figure out how we can bring that together. Yes. Those are great requests and suggestions. We definitely want to bring those to fruition. So
right. And another question.
Can't see.
Says, in business, being an entrepreneur in general, burnout is prevalent. What strategies would you guys say should be in place to avoid this from happening? From burnout.
That's a good question, man. Something I've started to learn as of late, and it's been hard because as a designer, I have a whole style of how I design, how I build websites, how I approach every project. But what I'm learning is as much as I can do it and get it done in my way that I know is going to deliver a satisfactory product to the client, I have to start to lean on and extend myself, right? So I have to make duplicates of myself, train others who can do the same thing and follow I have to basically create a system for them to follow how I approach my design and web building, right? So to answer your question, I think what helps from getting to burnout is learning to outsource and delegate some of the work that you are doing, whether it be whatever profession you're in. Is learning how to document that and turn it into a system so that someone else can come and follow it. So, when you do that, now you find yourself in more of the strategist seat, more of the decision-making seat, and you spend less time in the weeds, right? Even though you're the best for that particular job, what happens is when you're putting your 100% focus on that, you're not able to be on the other side of the shop and building the business and making partnerships and, continuing to, extend your opportunities. So what helps you from doing that is leaning on, the resources of others and also starting to outsource.
Cleve needs to take serious Al. Serious jerk. What is he talking about?
What? He needs to take serious Al. Oh. So
serious.
Yeah. So we have which one is this one? This is I think this is my Facebook.
That's your Facebook.
So we have a good friend of mine, Albert over here. Every time he gets serious, I just can't stop laughing. Because he jokes 10,000 times.
He does.
So anytime he's like serious, I'm just
every time laughing. We'll be serious, he's like jerk.
Yeah.
So funny. It's so funny.
So I'm sorry, man. I can't. I don't think I ever can, bro.
To go along with what you're saying too, I was about to say a schedule and planning things out. I mean, it's something right now that we're working together more. So I'm working with Cleve about, because sometimes he'll overextend himself and will book, all these people in this time frame that he has. I'm like, you're doing too much. Like, you're overextending yourself. You're gonna be stressed and you're gonna get burnt out. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna come up with a plan and schedule. So.
And this is really good points you bring up, right? So understanding your weaknesses and you getting someone who has those strengths. So Kimberly's very organized. She can operate.
Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian. Yeah.
Your wife. You have another Adrian.
Yeah. This is another Adrian. Yeah, your wife, right? But you want to lean on those who have the expertise in the area that you're weak in, right? Mm-hmm. So that's another way of doing it. So you may already have these people that you can reach out to, but then also looking to outsource the area that you provide as a service. Mm-hmm. You want to learn to duplicate your services so that you can be in multiple places at once, and that'll really help you that'll help you with feeling burned out, because now, like I said, you're just focused on the decision parts of everything. You're not actually doing the work.
He said they don't respect my serious talk, Kim.
This guy. He said, sign me up, schedule a consultation. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Come on now.
We'll work on that. But,
we got
thank
some
you
good
all
questions.
for the questions. We got questions from all the platforms tonight. Well, almost all.
Yeah.
We're going to work on
right.
the Brandon Geeks Facebook,
right.
But that's all right.
We're putting that content out. That's what you do.
Right.
And here is a nugget for anyone who's hesitating on doing lives. You got to do the lives no matter if no one show up or if everyone shows up.
If you're talking to yourself, it's good practice.
It's good practice.
I'm practicing every week.
And guess what? We talking about building rapport, right? So at the very least, you're putting videos online of content that someone can. I'm telling you, when someone's looking to make a decision on whether they should choose you or someone else, if they go to your page and they see content, you got an 80% chance that you're going to get their business over the other person, because they'll be able to see you talk. They'll be able to see how you come to conclusions, see the value that you bring, and that's going to take them over the
top. Just see you as a person. Like, nowadays we talked about before, a couple of lives back, how, years of old, when they when a company would be out there doing commercials and stuff, you wouldn't necessarily see the people behind the scenes. Right. But now people buy people. Like, they want to see the owners. They want to see, what are their lifestyles like? Yeah. So it's important for you to get out there in front of the camera. And trust me, when I'm telling you this, I am talking to myself. Okay? This is a daily fight, but we must overcome. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, what's this? Oh my God.
Anywho.
Spirituals over here. Wow. Okay. Anywho.
Matter of fact, we play Beyonce.
Nah, she alright.
Homecoming. National anthem. Okay. Anywho, Thank you all so much for joining tonight. Like Clee said, we had some great questions. Thank you all for your questions. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach us out at the Branded Geeks on Facebook. Reach us out. Reach out to us. Okay. At the Branded Geeks. Okay. Be sure to follow us, subscribe, check out our website, www.thebrandedgeeks.com. Like Clee mentioned before, if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us, hit us up in our DMs.
The notification thing, what is that?
Yes. Notifications on Instagram, on Facebook. If you don't know, hit us up. We can show you, in more detail how to do it. But in general, there's a notification setting that you can have, so you will get notified when we go live. Specifically on Instagram, you can put your notifications whether you want us, every time we do a post or our lives, you could be notified on those items.
And we giving away the shop, y'all. I mean, last week we literally gave away a $2,000 course.
Yes.
The course is a $2,000 course, and we gave that content away just because we know how valuable it is. So
once we have that course,
just saying, man,
I don't think that's gonna be up anymore. But
just saying, just go ahead, And like I said, we're doing it not because we're trying to, do anything else but provide you with information and be a source of information for you. So.
Right. So, well, that's it from us. If you all don't have any more questions, thank you all for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week.
All right.
Same time.
Same time. Hopefully, it could be 7 o'clock. No, it's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Yes. Okay. So have a better than ever week.
Hungry, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry. We're supposed to end it.
He will eat before. So
you're right. That's why I got energy. I eat before.
That's right.
All right. All right.
Good night, y'all.